So we're going to go into the Boston Tea Party Museum. I think part of the program is you go out here on the boat and you pick up some tea and you throw it in the river and say, "Down with taxes." That's taxes, not Texas. You know, just a quick note, we've been like taking Uber everywhere. We didn't rent a car because we heard the parking was extremely expensive. And a lot of traffic. So most Ubers have been like $15, so it's actually been pretty good. Oh, there they are, throwing tea over right now.
Definitely recommend going to Abigail's Tea Room, where you can taste the 5 teas that were thrown overboard. On our way to Abigail's Tea Room, we were able to get a little bit of a preview of what our tour is going to be like.
So here is Abigail's Tea Room. If you go left to right, it's the weakest and then it gets to the strongest. And these are the 5 teas that they dumped over at the Boston Tea Party. So we're going to taste all these. So yeah, this is kind of cool. So here are the 5 teas. Singlo, green tea, yeah. So of the 5 teas, the first 3 were pretty good, pretty mild. I like all of them, I guess. The 4th started to get a real interesting smell. It tasted okay. The 5th one I haven't tasted it yet, but it smells just like hickory smoked wood, like when you're doing a barbecue. So let's see what it tastes like. Yeah, it smells like hickory wood. Yeah, kind of tastes like it too. Wow, I never had a tea taste like this. I choose number 3, the one in the middle.
Here's a little bit more detailed information on each one of the 5 teas. This was a lot of fun trying the 5 different types of teas, and it was a very reasonable price. It was like $5 or $6 per person, and it just kind of made you fit in with the historical things that were going on there.
You have tickets in 1 o'clock on them right this way.
Samuel Adams.
Let's start the interactive tour.
It's ours.
So we're meeting in the West Meeting House to decide, are we going to revolt against the British because we're tired of their taxation?
You don't say a blessed thing unless instructed otherwise, and you will be instructed otherwise. So, let's get started. Looks like we're already here. Where are you two joining us from? Kansas City, Missouri. Never heard of it. That's 73. My name is Josiah Wheeler. I'm a housewright by trade here in town. As the title would suggest, my profession deals mainly in the building and repairing of houses. I'm also a concerned citizen of Boston. You see, I and my fellow housewrights have struggled these past few years, particularly during the Townsend Acts. Imagine, if you will, trying to build or fix a house and being forced to pay a tax on lead, glass, paint colors, all essential tools to my trade. For the last 19 days, the 3 ships carrying the tea have docked in Boston Harbor, and many men have nightly volunteered to stand guard over the first vessel to arrive at the Dartmouth, making certain that that tea does not leave the cargo hold. A few ways you can do just that. For example, you may give a mighty stomp of your feet. Let's try that together. You may bang on the pews. Brilliant. Yes, that always works. If you agree with something, disagree with something, or you're just confused and you want to fit in. Just ask, please hit something, not someone. And if you prefer to be more vocal, especially if you hear anything you agree with, you may yell out, "Hear, hear." Let's try that together, shall we?
Hear, hear.
Alternatively, well said.
Well said.
Well, thank you. Rather thought so myself. Or my personal favorite, you may ball your hand into a fist, pull it back, punch it into the air, and on my hip hip, give the mightiest of huzzahs. So, hip hip, huzzah! Hip hip, huzzah! That's enough. Now, in the very likely event you hear anything you disagree with, and trust me, you're going to, we're discussing politics, you are more than encouraged to boo. Yes, you didn't need help with that one, did you?
Hey to you all!
Hey!
Yes, name them all. I do understand that.
Samuel Adams.
We're gathered here today to discuss yet another crisis enforced upon us by Parliament, supposedly on behalf of our monarch, King George III. Out in the Boston Harbor are those three ships, the Eleanor, the Dartmouth, and the Brig Beaver, and their holds are bursting with 340 crates of East India Company tea. Pernicious stuff, and under the law, each of these vessels has just 20 days to unload its cargo and to pay the duties or taxes upon the tea. And tomorrow marks the 20th day for the ship Dartmouth, making this body of the people all the more important. This marks our final chance to affect these events in our favor! And earlier this day, it was requested that the ship's owner, Francis Roach, that he obtained word from our... let's just call him our esteemed Royal Governor, Thomas Hutchinson. Yes, a man who abandoned the cause of the people years ago, yet he, curiously, is the only man that can grant these vessels a pass to allow them to return to England without unloading their pernicious cargo. And Mr. Roach did leave several hours ago. We anxiously await his return, and we cling to the hope that the governor will listen to reason, for if that cargo is unloaded, then it is you, the good citizens of Boston, who will be forced to pay this unjust tax on tea! Friends, it is important to note that this is not the first time the Parliament has taxed us like this, and without our consent, as it was only 8 short years ago in 1765, when Lord Grenville saw fit to tax our letters, our newspapers, and indeed all of our printed materials under those Stamp Acts.
Mr. Adams, stop the meeting, everyone! Mr. Adams, Mr. Roach has just returned. The governor's word is in.
Thank you, Mr. Wheeler. Friends, this is the news we've been waiting for. It says that the governor is willing to grant anything consistent with the laws and his duty to the king, but... oh, goodness. He also orders that the vessels cannot leave unless the cargo is unloaded as the law demands. And Boston, what say you all to this? There you have it. Our governor has refused to send this tea back to England. He has refused every petition, every course and recourse to an amicable solution, and he has forced our hand. As now I say, the time has come for us, the people of Boston, to decide what to do. Hear, hear? That is why I turn to you, Mr. Wheeler. What do you think we should do tonight?
Well, Mr. Adams, I say that salt water and tea should mix tonight. What say all of you patriots? Shall we destroy the tea?
Oh, what a mighty mob we have on our hands, but let's... huzzah!
Boston Harbor, a teapot tonight.
It is clear there was nothing more a meeting can do to save this country.
That's the signal, everybody. Rise you up, gather your belongings. You will not be returning here. We make our way to Griffin's Wharf. Huzzah!
The parliamentary authority say aye.
Aye.
We as we captured in the rest of the treason say aye. Aye. What we're about to do is consider treason. Now, do any of you know what the punishment for treason is?
Death.
Yes, thank you for the demonstration there, dear. It is death by hanging, which is a faith I do not wish upon any of you. That's why it's very important that we keep the names and faces we see gathered here tonight as secret. We will give them a mighty huzzah. 1, 2, 3.
Huzzah!
Thank you. That is 3 down, only 111 left to go. Huzzah! Now we finished goods such as sugar, glass, rum, molasses, lemons. But we're here for one thing and one thing only, folks, which is tea. Indeed. Now we know it's tea because each crate was wrapped in a white canvas and then marked with the merchant's mark of company logo of the United East India Company. That V you might see there in that symbol, that is just a Latin style view. Now each crate would weigh between 100 and 400 pounds.
Okay, one more.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Good.
You want me to take one?
Souvenir shop inside the Boston Tea Party Museum.
2023 does mark the 250th anniversary of the Boston Tea Party. I might add, towards the end of the tour, we were not allowed to do any videos or film, but it was really interesting. They had one of the original crates of the tea that somebody had found a few years later, and they kept it in the family, and now it's been preserved. And it was just kind of nice to see something that old that they had preserved. We also were looking at two portraits of King George, and I forget the other guy. And as you were staring at them and the tour guide was talking, they kind of came to life and they were like talking with each other. It was really awesome technology.